What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing? How we doing? Yo, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today? Welcome. Welcome in. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. We're back with another live stream. This time, we're streaming a demo. Last time we did a beta of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That went well, and I've been playing that. That's going to be a great Call of Duty, I think. I was doing some third person. That's very interesting. They did a great job with the third person. Um, but now we're here with the demo. I didn't even know this demo was out. They kind of stealth dropped this thing. But for Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Now, a little background. This is by the studio that brought you Neo and also Ninja Gaiden back on the original Xbox, Team Ninja. None of those were really my favorite games. I tried hard, very hard, to get into Neo 1, and I got a ways through it. I played a good amount. I think about 50, over 50 hours. But it just ended up being not really that fun in the long run. I thought the combat could have been better. It just doesn't really have that flowing combat. Enemies don't really respond to getting hit, and you've got to just constantly put on a bunch of amulets, scrolls, and tinker around with a bunch of ninjutsu. And it has its moments. It was fun for a time, um, but it's not a game that I'm gonna beat. And I looked up some gameplay for Neo 2. Yeah, I'm not playing that either. This is an online-only demo available for a limited time. Please notice that a connection to the PlayStation Network is required in order to play this demo. All right, so you'll probably have a limited amount of time, and they want to keep track of that. Yeah, Neo 2 doesn't really look any different. They look like 360 games. They play like 360 games, and the story was fairly interesting. It was entertaining. And Neo has its moments. I liked a lot of the Guardian spirit was cool. And once you start leveling up, the unlocking skills and ninjutsu to use, like throwing bombs at people, and some of the combos are cool. It was fun at moments, but it's just the enemies hit you in two shots, kill you in two shots, and you just can't really get into a fight. It's just you got to stay back and just clunky. Environments are small. I think they're overrated. I think they've gotten more praise and success than they're really worth. Um, so we can either do English, Chinese, Japanese. Now, this game takes place, I believe, in China. That's what they said. You're going to China for this game. But then I was reading, oh, it's feudal Japan. But no, that's the next game that they're making, I believe, because Wolong is a Chinese word, and it's Fallen Dynasty. And China has dynasties. Japan has periods. Uh, so I'm pretty sure it takes place in China, but we're gonna find out. Um, but we're gonna play this in Chinese, English subtitles. Let's see how we do. I want to hear this Chinese because there's not many games in Chinese. It's always Japanese. Of course, this is a Japanese game, um, and we're gonna play in performance mode. And let's see what we got. I'll probably play it in different languages. Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and this is put out by Koei Tecmo, um, a studio a publisher known for Dead or Alive, I believe. Yes, I believe they do Dead or Alive. Um, they don't. Koei does not have a game that I really love. Probably Attack on Titan 2 was the closest, or maybe Neo. They're a good company. You know, they're all right. But here we go. We're gonna play a new game. It looks good. It looks good so far. I think the graphics from what we've seen are nice. Okay, so here we go with some character customization. Now, so then I guess we're not. Are we playing as an established character, or are we playing as a character that you just have to completely make up? Not completely sure, but you can play as male or female. You can totally adjust your look. I think I'll probably just go with. I'll probably just go with the most default that I could get, just for my first time. I might go with that. Let me at least select that. We got to have a little bit of customization here. And in let's see, in Neo you play as an established character, William Kennedy, and you can't customize his look from what I remember. But even so, Neo 2 had a lot, and people were hyping that up like it was so great. But I mean, when you put on armor, it covers it up anyways. And it definitely did in Neo or Neo 2. So I'm not sure if that is going to be the case with this game. I'm not going to go into all this crazy customization. A lot of games offer this, and it just takes a lot of time, and I'm not sure how much it's really going to make an impact. Let's see what the voice is like. I guess there's no option to change the voice. Oh shit, okay, we can switch costume, which in this case just takes it off. Yeah, I think when I play this again, we'll play as a female and take it off. But I already changed a couple things and I don't want it to go back. Select one from the 5 phases that matches your playstyle. Fire phase, attack oriented. Earth phase, defense oriented. Wood phase, support oriented. Metal phase, debuff oriented. Water phase, stealth oriented. We're going to go with fire phase. Excels in attack, the divine beast of the fire phase, Zuku, has the power to engulf the nearby area in fire. Yeah, it's definitely Chinese with words like Zuku. I don't know why it's called phase, but we're going to find that out. So a fire phase, that's the divine beast of the fire phase, so it must be like a discipline is what they must mean by that. We're going to find out. Are you sure you want to select the following phase? This will decide your basic stats, divine beast, and wizardly spells at the start of the game. You can change your divine beast and wizardly spells later. Alright. Just taking a little drink here. I drink a lot more water when I'm live streaming because I'm talking so much more. Anyways, let's get started. Let's start the tutorial. You will learn the controls and systems of the game in the tutorial. Probably a good idea since you know there's going to be quite a bit of combat and stuff to learn. So let's see what we got here. This is the follow-up to the Neo series. Team Ninja. Let's see what they can do. We got your typical running around, pick stuff up, bronze dual swords, ring, polearm, Status menu equipment. Okay. Supplies, stats. Let's take a look at our equipment. Ring pommel saber. Polearm Pado bronze dual swords. Let's put something else in our secondary slot, I guess is what it is. I guess we'll have two of kind of the same weapons. I'm not sure if we use them both at once. I don't think we do, because that would be dual swords. Oh no, I guess you can. All right, we'll do the saber, and then we'll have dual swords. Ranged weapon, we don't have that yet. I'm not sure what those are. Nameless warrior garb. And most likely, regardless of the class we chose, we can probably wear any armor with any class. I'm pretty sure, even though it looks, you know, that's the most striking difference. I doubt that initial armor is going to really have much of an impact. It's probably going to be these phases. Blasting fire, emits an eruption of flames to the front, surging blaze. So we got flame attacks, and we'll play around with those. Zuku. Okay, so that's like this version of your guardian spirit, and that looks really cool. Zuku's Scorch. Summon Zuku to engulf the surrounding area. Alright, so we got some stats for him, and supplies, Dragon's Cure Pot. Basic information, melee weapon attacks. So pretty familiar if you're if you've played Nioh and other Souls games, but even if not, this shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out. Switch melee weapon. Switch melee weapon. Do I have to hold? Oh, R2. Okay. So the first thing they teach you is to switch weapons, not attack. Lock on R3. Switch targets. The camera will always directly focus on the target locked onto. Alright. Starting off with the basics here. We'll lock on. Okay. Switch targets. Normal attack, spirit attack. Normal attack is fast. Spirit attack is slower. Deals more spirit damage. Okay, that's something new. Spirit damage, which can reduce the enemy's spirit gauge. Furthermore, when in high spirit, you can consume the surplus spirit to increase damage. Okay, so spirit, like your posture gauge. When you have high spirit, you can use the surplus to increase damage. Let's see the video. Alright, let's play it. Alright. And then jump. Martial Arts 1. Martial Arts 2. Unleash a powerful martial arts attack by consuming the spirit. By consuming spirit. You cannot use martial arts when your spirit gauge decreases to the lower limit. Martial arts will differ depending on the weapon used. Rare weapons can have two kinds of martial arts. Let's try that out. Okay. And switching. Okay, switching. Deflect. Circle. And then left stick circle right before receiving an enemy attack. Dodge. Circle, circle. Quickly using circle will allow you to redirect your enemy's attack. Timing this action to meet the enemy attack not only allows you to redirect. Okay. And you know, I kind of wouldn't mind just playing the game and just kind of figuring it out for myself. And That's what From Software understands, is that it's better to just play it like you're reading all this stuff just to do the most simple thing. And then you have to do this specific moves before you can pass. And then by the time you do it, you're like, oh wait, I did it already? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me practice a little bit. Let's guard. I feel like it's it looks good. The lighting is kind of basic. Like, I need better shadows. I feel like everything has this kind of 360-degree light coming from everywhere. Lighting is a huge deal when it comes to graphics. Good lighting is what really separates. I have to guard. It's like you don't pass until you do the tasks. I need that. Deflect. All right, let's just play. Let's just stop reading all these paragraphs just to do the most simple thing like that. Deflect circle in response to enemy's critical blow. That's all you had to say. And then final strike. Boom. All you need is that one little sentence right there. That's plenty. I do need some more. I do need the lighting. I need to be better, like, shaded. Like, you see what I mean? It's kind of just stark. I need that shading to be there. And I already have the brightness turned down a little bit below default. But we'll see. We're not going to judge it too soon. Equip 2 types of ranged weapons. Okay. Do that. Bamboo bow. And bamboo crossbow. Switch ranged weapons. Alright. Shoot. Aim and press that. Does it do anything if I hold it? Switch to the bow. I do like that twirl he does. It has the same like in Neo, where you aim and you can't move for a second until you get it out. Like, why is that? I was hoping that would kind of be eliminated by now. Wizardly spell. R2 and the other face button. So you have your wizardly spells, and then you have your, like, martial arts, which is that. And the class you selected, the, whatever it was called, determines which ones those are. And enhance your weapon, and do a bunch of different martial arts. Now we have the Divine Beast. Boom. And then he does some attacks of his own. Divine Beast Resonation. When the Divine Beast gauge is full. See, all I need is that sentence. I don't need that whole paragraph. Get the Divine Beast in here. Alright. Divine Beast Resonation. So far, it's much more fast and fluid than Neo, which is why I just couldn't deal with that game. Glorious victory. It does sort of have that Neo look, which is, you know, a generation behind graphically. I don't know, this is looking pretty PS4-y. A lot of it has to do with the lighting and kind of the animations. I would like to have had a little bit smoother. A little more kind of natural. It's better than Neo for sure. Definitely looks like a PS4 game, and not even one of the best ones. Okay, so here we can rest and level up. Yo, what's up, T-Mac? Now, this is definitely not Neo, man. This is definitely not Neo. Alright, we can level up our self. You know, this game is going to have tons of progression. I don't have anything to level up, but that's alright. I can set a Divine Beast. And you know, we're going to change it to King Long. Wizardly spells, we can change those. Got stone ones. We got toxic ones. We got frozen ones. We got earthly ones. Lightning bolts. Yeah, it definitely has that Neo look, meaning outdated. I was hoping for better. Like, just look at the lighting. I need the shading, the lighting to be more natural. Where are the shadows? Where is the realistic shadows and that depth? Where's the depth? See, like over here, no shadows. Everything is just has this sort of universal static light. I need better than that. Yeah, this is not Neo. Let's see how the gameplay is, though. Let's not judge it too soon. He even kind of runs like the Neo character. Let's use some of our martial arts. Run towards the wall. Alright, I got a healing item. So I guess we're supposed to go this way. Insane downgrade. It damn sure is. Yeah, I need that lighting way better. That's what really separates. That makes a big difference. More than anything else, I think, graphically. Yeah, there's tons of upgrades. It's going to take time to kind of get used to it and familiarize yourself. But you shouldn't have to you shouldn't have to go way deep into, you know, everything to get a good time out of the game. You should be able to just kind of throw yourself around and do okay for the most part. I can tell you're going to have a lot to work with, and I'm almost dead here. How come I can't do any of these other fire spells? Okay, so your spirit gauge is that thing on the bottom. It's like your posture. I'm gonna pull out my other sword. And the game time does not stop as you're pausing. Pretty common for this type of game, and that took some getting used to for me. A battle flag can raise your fortitude rank. Your morale drops when you are killed, but it will not go below the fortitude rank. And we're gonna rest here. I'm still not sure what country this is in. Can I level up? Let's level up our... Okay, so there's different virtues. Wood virtue affects HP and the amount of spirit lost when attacked. Fire virtue affects the amount of spirit gained when attacking and the amount of spirit consumed by martial arts. Earth virtue affects the equipment weight limit and the amount of spirit gained when deflecting an attack. Metal virtue affects the duration that a high level of spirit can be manipulated for, and the spirit consumed by wizardly spells. Water virtue affects how easily enemies can detect you. We're going to go with wood virtue for now. Let's see, I can upgrade 1 point. So it goes by, right, 1 level at a time. Requires a certain number of points. And that's going to increase spirit defense, spell duration, and HP. Alright, we're going to put our point into that. The one you start as determines how high, because I chose the fire phase, and that determines how high my fire virtue was. But in my experience with these games, as you go, the one you started as doesn't matter too much. And then when it comes to leveling up different ones, I found that it's better to kind of focus on a couple instead of evenly spreading them out. But this downgrade is pretty drastic. I guess it's a downgrade, or maybe it just didn't look that good to begin with, or maybe they're just showing some of the more spectacular moments. But whatever you want to call it, it needs to look a lot better. And I'm going to restart the demo a few times. It's going to take some time to kind of get used to it. It's best to just play the game. Like, you're going to figure all that out as you're playing. Once they get staggered like that, you can press the finishing button and finish them off. But you should not have to be an expert with all these little systems and upgrades to be having a good time with the game. Like, that's going to come naturally. Stealth attack. So you lose a spirit. So I have 2 spirit points right now. And you lose them when you get hit, and that you need them for your wizardly spells. I believe is how that works. Let me block. And I'm dead. Crushing defeat. By defeating the leader, you can take the enemy's battle flag. Okay. You will lose your morale points and half of your genie key when you are killed by an enemy. The morale rank of the enemy that kills you will increase by 1. You can regain your lost Genie key. Oh, I'm sorry. Genuine key. My bad. Genuine key. You can recover that and your morale points by defeating the same enemy. If the enemy is a boss, you will regain them by challenging them once again. However, if you die again before regaining them, the lost genuine key and morale points will disappear forever. Okay. So basically, the points that you earn when killing enemies, you know, it's the same system for the most part. This is what Neo should have looked like on the PS4. Like, this is what Neo should have looked like. That is spectacular, though. The finishing moves, that is very nice. I mean, it's a drastic change from Neo with how flowing the combat is and how you can kind of just keep it going. That's what Neo was desperately missing. And the main reason I think that those games are just not that great. Alright, buddy, here we go. Okay, so you can kind of get behind him by deflecting. You do get staggered a lot, like... Gotta heal again. And that's one thing I didn't like about Neo. Something I just never got used to or appreciated was how you just completely stop moving like that. Was not a fan of that at all. I guess there needs to be a consequence. Sekiro did it by, like when your posture was broken, you couldn't guard. I guess each game does it differently, but anyway, so far I'm liking it. Alright, you can headshot some enemies. Alright, so now I have 5 of those points, whatever they were called, I forgot. Enemies that defeat players on other battlegrounds will appear on your battleground as a vengeance target. A vengeance target will have a high morale rank, but will also give various bonuses when defeated. Using a memorial tablet will remove all vengeance auras, and we're definitely not going to take that on right now. I kind of have an idea of what I'm in store with that from Neo. And there's a lot of those. Most likely there will be a lot that will come up. They're really not that crucial. They'll give you some good weapons, but nothing you couldn't get from other sources, I don't think. I don't even know how I'm doing this. Like there's a lot that I kind of skimmed over in the tutorial. The deflections, I'll go over it again. There's a lot to it though. Okay, so we got a marking flag, which is different than a whatever the other kind was. Forgot. Yeah, Team Ninja. So far, I don't think they've really made a truly great game. And then they did that Stranger of Paradise, which I don't know what the point of that was. So when you dodge, it increases that, like, spirit. And that's what you need to have in order to block. You gotta be careful. So it's basically your stamina. And we're dead. Martial arts. There we go. And I do like how it seems to be that they're moving away from, you know, all the scrolls and you know, you have accessories. That's, you know, that's going to be passive. Armor. Let's see what we got. And so you put on a piece of armor and all your customization just doesn't really matter. Nor does the starting armor you had very much. But I do like how it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole ton of all that extra stuff, scrolls and everything. You gotta constantly keep juggling around. There's clearly going to be tons of weapons, and that's something I'm not too crazy about, because a lot of times the only difference is a few little, but there could be, like, these ones, special effects. We'll just have to see and play around with it. It is good to have a lot of options, but in Neo I had like 300, maybe 400 items in my inventory altogether. And I think it's better to just not even really pay too much attention to all that stuff. And that's the lesson that I'm going to apply from Neo, is to try to kind of just ignore that. All the upgrading weapons, buying weapons. There's just such an excessive plethora of weapons and equipment that it's better to just equip a completely new one. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And it looks like there's a much stronger focus on the combat and not all that other stuff you got to constantly play around with, which is Neo's real big one of its biggest weak points, where you're paying attention to the gauges and the various, like, meters that are relevant to the actual battle. So I'd like to have the depth be there, not in putting on 20 different scrolls and all that. I should have known that was going to collapse. Yeah, this is absolutely what Neo should have looked like. It should have looked, easily should have looked this good. And I remember playing the demo for Neo 2, and I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't even finish it. And that was before I played Neo, but still though. Alright, let's see what we got over here. We got a little bit of a boss. Let's see how we do. Call my... How do I call homeboy? Got my dragon. See what he can do. How does the thing do anything? Is it just applied to the weapon automatically? We're dead. This is cross-gen. It looks like last gen. It definitely looks like last gen. No cross-gen about it. This is a last gen game. Nothing about this says PS5. There's really not even any DualSense. Can't check it right now. I'll look. And this is the official PS5 version. Like, I'm not feeling any DualSense. That's the problem. There's a lot they could do with this. You know, there's a lot of different moves you got. I like the sound and kind of the feel of doing like a heavy attack. It's satisfying. I like the sound. It's just gonna take practice. It's gonna take some practice. Let's get our sword back out. One thing I learned from Neo is that in that game, mastering one weapon was best, because each type of weapon has upgrades, combos, and so for me, I did short swords or the dual sword, and I got pretty good with those. And there's some good upgrades. There were some good upgrades for the dual swords. And those became powerful weapons. Then, once I was happy with those, I went to like the regular sword, and then the spear, and they all have some good combos and upgrades. But I would say start with one. And I think I'm gonna stick with the regular sword for now. There'll be plenty of time and opportunity to go to different types of weapons. Agreed, but you only need the game to look decent. Gameplay and story carries a game for you. I need to know where this takes place. I gotta know this. I need to know what country you're in at least. The game takes place in a dark fantasy version of the later Han Dynasty in 184 AD China, where demons have plagued the three demons. Demons have plagued the three demons. China, 184. And I chose Chinese language. I guess that's only going to matter in the cutscenes, because I haven't heard a single word out of this character's mouth. you think gameplay and story carries the game? There's a lot of games where the graphics are what got me into it, and the graphics are what kept me coming back. Like Control. I think Control is a mid-game. The gameplay is fun. The combat is very good, but it's boring to run around and get lost. The game just doesn't have a point, and the story is kind of whack. But it just looks so good. All the details, the destruction. Remedy knows how to make a good-looking game, and that immersed me in the game, and that's kind of what got me through it. And then eventually, I got back into it and beat it. It's a case-by-case basis, I think. I don't think there has to be any such absolutes like that. Like Mad Max. I'm about to beat Mad Max. Something I thought I would never do. And the story is non-existent. There just isn't a story. The gameplay is super fun, and the graphics are very good. So in that case, the graphics and the gameplay are carrying the game. Kingdom Hearts 3, kind of a kiddie game. In that game, it was the story and the graphics. Because the gameplay is okay, floaty, nothing to write home about. It's a case-by-case basis. You know, Cyberpunk. At first, I didn't really understand Cyberpunk and like how it was telling a story. I thought it was kind of slow. I just wasn't used to the pacing. But it just was. It had such a good visual style to it, and visually so many details. And that's kind of what hooked me and kept me engaged in the game, especially when you're playing with ray tracing, which on consoles has very bad performance. But still, going back and forth between graphics mode and performance mode, that will change your experience a lot, especially in Cyberpunk, especially in games like the Avengers game. That changes the experience drastically. And it makes me not want to play the game when I see that graphical downgrade. Like, the graphics kind of are the game. Like, there is no gameplay and story without the graphics. You know what I mean? Everything you see is graphics. Alright, I'm gonna pull out everything I got. Crushing defeat. I wonder if there's different levels to your defeat. I wonder if there's like a near defeat. Usually though, gameplay and graphics, they kind of go hand in hand. Usually the better the gameplay is, the better the graphics are, and vice versa. It's just how it seems to play out. The best looking games usually also have really refined gameplay. And usually games that look clunky and basic, that's how they feel to play. So are the animations, does that count as graphics? Like when you make an attack, you're seeing that represented with the graphics. Like that's a part of the gameplay. The interaction between what you're doing with the controller and what you're seeing, you need to be seeing something in order for there to be gameplay, and that's provided by the graphics. So the graphics kind of is the gameplay. It affects how it feels, how it looks, how the character moves around, the animations. That all affects the gameplay experience. Like all that fire, that's all part of the gameplay and the graphics. Like if that wasn't there, I would have just basically just made no attack even. We got another boss. Man, this is a very lively and active location. And we're dead. That's a much higher level boss. The gameplay carried Elden Ring. Yeah, the gameplay is great in Elden Ring. But what about the world design? You have a huge, gigantic map, very diverse locations, striking, just awe-inspiring locations. Your character's weapons, the armor, tons of weapons and armor, and that's graphics right there. The environment, the bosses, how the boss looks, what the weapon looks like, the environment you're playing in. The most memorable parts of Elden Ring that stand out the most is those environments, the locations, the boss battles, how that looks and feels is the graphics. It's about what you're seeing. The visuals, the environments, what you see with your eyes, that's what really made Elden Ring what it is. Because they've made the videos of like 16-bit Elden Ring or 8-bit Elden Ring, and you can say that has good gameplay for being an old game. Can you make Elden Ring a 16-bit game and still have the same gameplay? Definitely not. So the animation, the graphics, that all goes towards the gameplay. Go back to Dark Souls 3. It's the animations are clunkier, they're choppier, the gameplay is choppier because the animations are choppier. It's not as spectacular. You don't have as many particle physics and all the different effects that you see in Elden Ring. You know what I mean? That's part of the gameplay. So are the animations part of the gameplay, or are they part of the graphics? I think the graphics kind of are the game. What about like the physics systems, the destruction? That affects the gameplay. You know, destroying stuff. That can affect how you play the game. So when stuff gets destroyed, is the physics system, is that the graphics or is that the gameplay? So see, I think they're kind of the same thing. Graphics and gameplay go hand in hand. Come on, dragon. Yo, what's up, red hair? Yo, this is not Neo, bro. Did you guys even see the gameplay? Like, you should have seen at first glance of the gameplay that this is clearly not Neo. And playing it, it is clearly not Neo. It's got some familiar structure to it, how you level up. Like, nothing about this even feels like Neo. If you took off the HUD and it looks better, improve the lighting. One thing that is similar to Neo, unfortunately, is that the graphics are outdated. It needs to look a lot better. It's a cross-gen game. It looks like a last-gen game, and this is a PS4 game. It's not even cross-gen. But anyways, other than that, nothing about this looks or feels like Neo. If you just handed me the controller and I didn't even know like the game was announced and said play this, like I might think it was made by the same people, but I wouldn't think that this was a sequel to Neo. Not unless it was made to be drastically different. Other than it having kind of outdated graphics, nothing about this looks or feels like Neo at all. Maybe the menus, you might think, oh yeah, Neo kind of had that. But as soon as you start playing, I guarantee you, it's not going to feel like Neo. It doesn't feel like Sekiro either. It's a unique game. Ronin is Neo 4. Yeah, that didn't look like Neo either. Not at all. That Ronin, that didn't look like Neo either. That kind of looked like... That looks like a proper open world game. This is not. This is more Souls. And I say, thank goodness, Neo can kiss my ass, man. Neo is overrated. It's not fun. Not for very long. I'm good with Neo. I think the developer realizes that. Why do you think they're not making Neo 4? I don't think they like Neo. They're making 2 brand new games and neither of them are Neo. Yeah, there's a reason for it. I need to start playing the games correctly. I've been losing. You guys can have your Neo, man. I'll take something. I'll take this. I'll take Ronin. Give me anything else but Neo. I'm good on that. You guys can have your overrated, overhyped Neo. Revenge accomplished. Okay, cool. Kill the guy that killed me. Maybe I should level up. Let's level up and farm a little bit. That's what you got to do in a Souls game, right? Neo is decent. Yeah, decent. Mid. Not some 85, 87. People saying it's the best game. It's mid and it's not for me. Though I am playing on performance mode, but I have a feeling that the resolution mode isn't going to change a lot because it did in Neo. And I just have a feel. It says resolution anyways. Oh, HDR is disabled? Oh, no wonder it looks so flat. All right, so now we're in resolution mode. HDR is still disabled though. It feels way slower. Is it 30 though? I guess it's 30. It's not too bad, but it feels way slower all of a sudden. Man, that frame rate is a big deal. So now the frame rate, is that part of the graphics or is that the gameplay? Because you can have a cutscene at different frame rates and that'll affect how it looks and feels. But see, they call it resolution mode, not like graphics mode. So the only difference is the resolution. Like, I'd rather have the graphics be better. Like, I can sacrifice the 4K. If all that's different is the resolution, which it looks like it is, I would definitely rather have the frame rate be a lot higher rather than the resolution be a little bit higher. I guess I'm moving at the same speed. I like how it doesn't stop time though. The fact that time keeps moving in the menus it just gives you this kind of uninterrupted feel to it. HDR I don't know why HDR is not available. I guess that's just the demo. Are there any better weapons? Let's see if we can level up our weapons here a little bit. I wonder how many different types of weapons there are. Probably a lot. Straight saber, sword, curved saber, glaive, dual swords. I wonder if that's all the types. I can do without those heavy hammers and all that super heavy slow shit. You can put on a throwing knife. No accessories yet. Alright. But yeah, let me go up and use these points because we need to level up. If we want to have a chance with these bosses. I think the gameplay and graphics go hand in hand. The graphics effect. Let's see, what should we level up? Health. We're going to go with a tried and true health. So that's a martial art. And then these are wizardly arts. That move right there is nice. Jump over enemies. In Neo, you had the spear had an attack where you could do an attack and then jump over the enemy, but like you could still get hit in the middle of it, like. Spear enemies are pretty tough because of the range. A lot of people think the sword is like the ultimate weapon, or like the samurai. Samurai use spears primarily because they have a longer range. The katana was a last resort. So far, though, overall, I'm liking it a lot. I think it's engaging, it's fun. The learning curve is not that high. It's pretty. You adjust pretty quickly. Like it's intuitive. So far, I'm seeing a game that's more accessible and more entertaining. And more fun than anything that Team Ninja have made thus far. You definitely do more damage. That hurt. With ranged when enemies are unaware. Hopefully HDR will make a big difference. Let me get my homeboy in here. Where's my dragon at? Man, I keep getting. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that stamina. You don't just get unlimited dodging. There is a cost and a penalty to everything. Alright, so those guys are down. Starting to get the hang of the combos. Who is shooting at me? Yeah, I can definitely see myself buying this on day one. Wolong 2 will slap harder for PS5 only, and what from this developer tells you that any of their games are going to slap hard with graphics? Like Neo was PS4 only, that looks like a 360 game. This is cross-gen, and it's 2 years in, when it comes out, over 2 years in to the current generation, and it looks like not even cross-gen, it looks like a PS4 game, like an early PS4 game. Yeah, the dodge and jump mechanics. There's a lot of mechanics. That's what I'm liking so far. There is a lot of mechanics. I'm thinking I might want to level up one more time before I take on that beast. So far, the two bosses that I've seen are really amazing. Great attacks. And that is one thing that I really liked about Neo, was the bosses. The design was cool, all very unique, fun to fight, challenging, but not like insane, especially once you got some better tools to work with and combos. When I stopped playing, I wasn't even on a boss. I was early in some new level. I really liked the bosses in Neo. They were great. That was one good thing about the game. And so far, these ones are not disappointing either. See, I don't even know what I'm doing really, and for the most part, I'm being pretty effective, at least for these lower level enemies. What else can we level up? Ranged weapon attack, power, stealth, deflect. I think stealth is going to be pretty useless. Deflect would be good. Spirit consumption rate. Okay, so it uses less. See, that's going to be important. Consuming less of your spirit. Yeah, spirit consumption rate going down. Wizardly spells, deflect, spirit stability. What's this do? Equipment weight. Now that's an important one for having heavier equipment and increasing your weight limit. But for the most part, I'm going to go with health. I think I've played enough of these types of games to know that that's the most important stat. I think that and attack. There is diminishing returns. So you do want to level up those other ones eventually. Don't let them fall too far behind, but early on, when it's more difficult, I'd say get your health and attack power up to standards. I think Souls players play these for pretty shiny things. Look at Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a great looking game. And like I explained earlier, if you want to go back and listen to earlier in the stream, that the gameplay and the graphics a lot of times overlap. Like, if you're not playing Elden Ring for the visuals, then so you have no problem if all the environments were way smaller, right? You have a huge open world, completely different locations, you know, breathtaking environments. That's graphics, bro. The armor, the weapons, that's visual. That's graphics. That's what you're seeing. animations, when you're doing attacks, all the various special combat moves you can do. That's animations, that's graphics, that's visuals. Great gameplay, but the gameplay and the graphics a lot of times are kind of the same thing. A lot of things, what's so impressive about Elden Ring is the visuals. Elden Ring players aren't like some special breed of players. They want a great game. And for the most part, From Software has provided that. And it's no coincidence that all their games look good. Usually the best-selling games are also the best-looking games. You know, people don't really play. People didn't play. You know, I think players are looking for everything. Like Red Dead 2, all the intricate details of the gameplay. It's amazing, but so are all the intricate details of the graphics and all the countless animations. Every little thing is animated. When you push a button and you see an animation, that's the gameplay and the graphics working symbiotically together. The details in the world, what there is to interact with, that's part of your gameplay experience. Your gameplay experience is affected by what you see. The environments, the animations, the weapons. They go hand in hand, man. They go hand in hand. I mean, if you love Neo, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. A lot of people love Neo. I mean, that's cool. I'm just saying, this is not Neo. It's a case-by-case basis, too, though. Like, there doesn't have to be these absolutes where one characteristic is always more important than another. I want to try the boss again, but I need more health. And yeah, we need to level ourselves up a little bit more. I mean, if you feel like Neo is your favorite game, then it's your favorite game. A lot of times where players feel differently about it, each game. Alright, we're at level 17. Let's see if we can take on that boss. I'm just gonna go right into it. The only thing that I am doubting is that this game is going to have any real story. I don't really. You're not even playing as an established character. In Neo 1, at least you have an established character. Whereas this is totally made up from scratch, and I'm not seeing any hint of storytelling or backstory or lore or anything. And that is a little bit concerning. Okay, so I can back all the way up. You don't have to stay limited to a little battle space. Yeah, taste a little fire. But then you better have killed the other enemies, because then you're going to have multiple to deal with at once. And we're dead. Yeah, it's a demo, but it's a demo of the game. For the most part, what you get in the demo is what you get in the game. Looking at this developer, I'm thinking there's no story. Elden Ring may not have that, quite be on that same level in terms of the small details, but its visuals are very satisfying. They're solid, and there's a lot of detail at extreme distances. Like those locations, awe-inspiring. And when you're doing incantations, spells, it's a spectacular game, man. Elden Ring is it could have looked better with the little details. They could have pushed it further. Rockstar, they pushed Red Dead 2 as far as it could go. But nonetheless, Elden Ring is a spectacular looking game. All in all, it's awe-inspiring. It's just how far you can see and how good everything looks, no matter how far it is. That's the real standout. But no, Red Dead 2, masterpiece. Infallible graphically, perfect. Breathtaking as well. Yeah, I love Red Dead 2. Did people play Elden Ring for the visuals? I mean, I don't think anyone really plays a game for the visuals, but those do sell the game. If the visuals are not there, it's not going to sell as much. They're playing the game because it's a game that they want to play. It's all combined. Like, all of it matters. All of it goes towards how much people want the game, how desirable it is. the sales are showing that the best graphics sell the best. So the sales are kind of showing that people do look at the graphics a lot. The best-selling games are also the best-looking games. So graphics is an important component, because when it's not there, then you're going to notice it. People talked about the graphics of Elden Ring quite a bit, and how Demon Souls looked better. And that was hotly talked about subject among Souls players. So they are looking at the game and critiquing it. Like when a trailer comes out, you don't have any gameplay. You're not playing it. You're seeing it. When the game debuts, when they announce the game, they're announcing it with graphics, with visuals, what you're seeing. And people kind of decide whether they want to play it based on what they see. So I think people play a game for everything. I think they either play it or they don't, because it either meets their standards in one way or another. And it's a case-by-case basis. There's times where those graphics will turn people off. There's times where the gameplay turns people off. So they're playing it a little bit for the graphics, a little bit for the story, if you know there is one, and a little bit for the gameplay. I think all of it matters. I think they're playing it for everything combined. When you're looking at the game, you're not just experiencing one little element at a time and just totally ignoring another. You're playing the whole thing at once, and so it all combines and interacts. Gamers don't care about graphics. The sales show they do. Visuals, animations, graphics. The sales disagree. Neo sold less than From Software games, and it doesn't look as good. And it didn't review as well. And it has a better story. It has more story than any FromSoft game except for Sekiro, and a better story. You know, you can on Twitter, that's what people will say over and over. Gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. Well, sales are showing that just doesn't really compute. You can go by Twitter polls if you want, but I'm going by the sales. What are you going by when it comes to, you say players don't care about the gameplay? Like, what are you going by, what people say? Because what people say when a game gets debuted, they're talking about the graphics. New generation, the graphics. When they first start playing the game, the graphics. What are your favorite games? What are your favorite, most games you've played? When most people think about their favorite games, they're also probably the best looking games. Most people, when they list off their favorite games, the games they've put the most time into, there's going to be some exceptions. You know, there's always exceptions, but for the most part, they're going to be the best looking games as well. Mine are, and I'm not even trying to. I'm not trying to just go after the graphics and you know, like I can't just make myself enjoy the game and just pay attention only to the graphics. You know, everything's got to be good. I get annoyed when the graphics are substandard, when the story is substandard, and when the gameplay is substandard. So the players care about all of it. And usually the best-selling games have the best stories as well. Think this is going to sell better than Neo? The graphics are about the same, given the generation, considering that. Similar environments. I think it's going to be about the same as Neo. It looks about the same. Maybe a little bit more. It's not going to be on the level of Elden Ring. And it's not going to be on the level of Sekiro. Because, one, it doesn't look as good. Graphics sell, man. People buy 2K every year, even though they rip you off. 2K has been a reference standard for graphics. That's kind of what it's known for. A lot of 2K games have set the bar for graphics. 2K is a great looking game. People buy Call of Duty every year. Call of Duty lately has been a great looking game. Watch 2K come out and have the graphics not evolve or get better at all. And maybe a year wouldn't make too big of a difference. But see what happens after a few years. See those graphics not improve and see those sales stay high. Call of Duty, same thing. Watch Call of Duty's graphics not improve at all for several years. And just see how those sales look. Alright, so the boss is gone. So those bosses you only have to deal with once. I'll be right back. Oh, my bad. My mic was muted. See, I got up to do something. Sorry. Yeah, I muted my mic. I gotta stop muting it on the controller. Because when I mute it on the headphones, it makes this click, but whatever. I just need to, I'll just mute it on the headphones from now on. I gotta stop using that controller mute. Yeah, anyways, I was reading over the lore, and I just wonder, is this gonna have, like, I don't think there's gonna be any story in this game. I mean, there might be, you know, tells you the overall purpose of what you're doing, but I need to feel like I'm playing through an active story. You know, are there other characters? I'm sure there will be. But I just wonder, is the environment going to have, like, I need to feel like there's a significant purpose for me being there. Or a purpose to the environment. Like, Bloodborne doesn't have much of a story, but the world, it comes to life so much. And it really has that personality. And that's a big reason why From Software games are so immersive. They just have that look to the world and the environments, and that level of immersion. So I do have doubts about that for this game. That's my only major reservation. But anyways, this boss is kind of kicking my ass. The game is very fun. It's definitely going to be a day one for me. So yeah, I like the game. It's way more immersive gameplay-wise than Neo was. I would like to have a little bit better visuals, or a lot better. When it comes to the environments, I like to feel like I'm surrounded by a unique setting and location. A lot of the particle physics and finishing moves and stuff like that, that does look good, and the bosses look good, and the bosses looked good in Neo. Like, that was the standout component to the game. And this thing can follow you all the way over here. So anyways, check out the demo for Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It'll be out next year. See whether or not you like it for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to get up out of here.